In the year 2000, three friends graduated from the same college, same degree, same job market, same starting salary of $45,000 a year. They each had $10,000 saved, and they each decided to do something different with it. The first friend, David, put his $10,000 in a savings account, safe, comfortable, earning 2% interest. The second friend, Marcus, spent his. New car, nice apartment, enjoyed every dollar. The third friend, James, did something the other two thought was boring. He bought stock, and then he never touched it.
David's savings account, after 25 years of 2% interest, has grown to about $16,000. He protected his money, but inflation ate most of his gains. In real terms, he barely moved. Marcus has nothing from that original $10,000. It was spent the year he earned it, gone. And James? James put his $10,000 into Apple stock in 2000 and never sold a single share. That $10,000 sitting quietly in a brokerage account for 25 years is worth over $1.3 million today. The same $10,000, the same starting point, three completely different outcomes. Now here is the question nobody asks. What did James know that David and Marcus did not? The answer is almost nothing. He did not predict the iPhone. He did not know Apple would become the most valuable company in history. He did not have insider information or a secret formula. He just understood one thing. The best companies in the world, given enough time, grow in ways that are almost impossible to comprehend in the beginning. Now, let me show you what that actually looks like in real numbers. In 1990, Microsoft stock was worth almost nothing. $10,000 invested in Microsoft in January 1990 and left completely untouched generated a total return of over 57,000% by 2020. 57,000%! That same $10,000 in the S&P 500 returned 1,950% over the same period, which sounds incredible until you compare it to Microsoft's 57,000.
And then there is NVIDIA. In 2016, NVIDIA was known as a gaming graphics card company, nothing more. $10,000 invested in NVIDIA in January 2016 would be worth approximately $2.8 million by 2026. In 10 years, not 30, not 25, 10. Most people who owned NVIDIA in 2016 sold it within 2 years. They doubled their money and felt smart. The ones who held, who did nothing, who ignored the noise, they became multi-millionaires. Not because they were smarter, because they were still. Here is the part nobody talks about. Holding a stock for 10 or 20 years sounds simple. It is not. Because between the moment you buy and the moment you become wealthy, the market will terrify you multiple times. Apple dropped 80% during the dot-com crash. If you bought in 1999, you watched your $10,000 become $2,000. Most people sold. The ones who held are the ones who retired early. NVIDIA dropped 66% in 2022, in less than a year. 2/3 of its value gone. Most people panicked and sold. The ones who held through that crash watched their investment triple within 18 months. The pattern is always the same. The wealth is always on the other side of the panic. So what did Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon all share? What connects every stock that turned ordinary investors into millionaires? First, they solved a real problem that was not going away. Apple made the device that every human being eventually decided they could not live without. Microsoft became the infrastructure of the modern working world. NVIDIA built the hardware that artificial intelligence runs on. Second, they had pricing power. Every time Apple raised the price of the iPhone, people still bought it. Third, they reinvested profits into growth. They did not stand still. They kept building. And fourth, and most importantly, they had time on their side. Because every single one of these companies at some point looked like they might not make it. Apple was weeks from bankruptcy in 1997. Amazon lost 94% of its value in the dot-com crash. The investors who became wealthy were not the ones who bought at the perfect moment.
They were the ones who did not sell at the worst moment. Now, the question you are probably thinking, which companies today will do what Apple and Microsoft did? Nobody can tell you that with certainty. But the historical pattern tells us something important. The companies most likely to generate extraordinary returns over the next 25 years are probably the ones that today feel too obvious, or too expensive, or too uncertain. Because that is exactly how Apple felt in 2000, and Microsoft in 1990, and Nvidia in 2016. Nobody rings a bell when the next great company is at the beginning of its journey. You just have to look for the ones solving real problems, the ones with pricing power, the ones that keep growing even when everything else is falling apart.
And then, the hardest part. You have to hold. Through the crashes, through the sideways years, through every headline telling you to sell. Because the wealth, as every single one of these stories proves, was never in the buying. It was always in the staying. David still checks his savings account every month. Marcus has rebuilt his finances, slowly, over many years. And James, quiet, patient, boring James, retired at 54. Not because he was smarter, not because he got lucky, because in the year 2000, when everyone around him was spending and playing it safe, James bought stock in a company he believed in. And then he did the one thing that almost nobody has ever managed to do consistently. He did nothing. For 25 years, he just did nothing. And that nothing built him a fortune that will last the rest of his life. The question is not whether you can find the next Apple. The question is, when you find something you believe in, do you have the patience to hold it long enough for it to change your life? Follow the quiet wealth, because wealth is not built by those who find the right stock. It is built by those who find the right stock and never let it go.